White shirts on the pitch, running fast through the night. Every heart beating loud under floodlit sky bright. So to London, stand strong. In the stands they belong. Voices echo like thunder. To the club they sing along. Up in Spurs we arise. Eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. King's fire in his eyes. Glory's what he seeks. With every goal he flies, rising to new peaks. From the lane to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. From the lane to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. With all our might. With all our might.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to Thfc Till I Die. Yes, Dermot, aka Dermatron, is now back off his holidays and back to doing what I do best, which is talking Spurs and talking a load of nonsense. But how are you guys anyway? Hope you're doing well on this lovely, cold autumn Monday evening in the middle of International Week. No Tottenham. A bit dull, I know, but do you know we've had England and Ireland playing, and Ireland playing not too badly. England probably scraping by. But look, it is what it is. But we've got the big game on Saturday. We're back against at home to West Ham and maybe put a few rights that went wrong against Brighton. Firstly, just want to apologise for no content for the last 8 or 9 days. A few things have gone on off YouTube world. So, family stuff had to come first. So firstly, I do apologise for the lack of content, but I am back now doing what I do best. And tonight, really, it's a bit about my thoughts. My thoughts on the takeover, which could be happening at Tottenham. So I've got a little bit about that as well. A little bit on the players that are on the last year of the contracts. The likes of Sonny and that. Will Sonny say, and there is a rumour going around, that Sonny may leave at the end of the season. Now, this is only a rumour. I was only told this today, that he could be looking to leave at the end of the season and finish off his career in South Korea, which who can blame him? Spurs do have a right to trigger a 1-year option on them, so they may trigger that. So who knows what's going to happen? And just general thoughts coming up to the next 6 games before the next international break, and where we are as a club, and where we are as a team, and where we are in the Premier League, and a little bit about also my thoughts on if the takeover does happen, and there is rumours that Eddie Howe could be coming into the job, then is that right or wrong? And we'll get into all to that. We'll get into that. I'll give you the latest I've got at the moment. Big up to everyone. Let's see. It's in the chat. We'll big up. We've got the Belgiumers. Big up to Joris. Big up Joris is going to try and make it. Big up Dermo. Big up to you, the Belgium. As Hotspurs is like number 1, my man. Well, thank you so much indeed. Really do appreciate it, sir. And it's really do. You can like. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscription button as well if you can. Also, pick up your memberships. If you do, you get onto members only shows after every game, which we're now going to get ready back into. We've got members only stuff as well. We're going to do Tottenham Team Talks. It's now going to become a members only show that you members get that little bit of match day content, a little match day that is for you. That you put your hard-earned money into our channel, so you get a benefit out of that. So that is starting now, I think, for West Ham. And also do a sponsorship as well. Do hit the link in the notification for our sponsor as well. Private internet access gives you the #1 access for VPN to watch all your things Spurs, all things Tottenham Hotspur. It's €43 for 2 years. And also you get 4 months free at the end of that 3 years as well. So if you can do that for me as well, it really would be helpful. Big up to Wayne Bonham, says, good evening, one and all. Hope you are well and good. Yeah, I am well. Great to be back as well, Wayne. Great to see you in the chat as well. We've got Boris here. Dermo, our Spurs nonsense chatter. We've missed you. Thank you so much, Boris. It's great. And see, Boris will be back this week as well, joining me in a few streams. And on a podcast, me, Boris, and Colin have a banger of a podcast for you on Friday. We are going to pick 5 of our best managers from each decade. Now, I've got the 70s and 80s. Colin's got the 90s up to I think the early 2000s, and then Boris has then got for when he started following football. He's already given me his top 5, and I tell you, a little insight, right? This is Boris's top 5. He's gone for Pep, Klopp, Jose, Conte, and Tuchel. That's his top 5. So what we're going to do, we're going to each give our top 5 on Friday, and we're going to discuss it. But this is the kicker. You guys decide who's the best ever manager. We're going to pick one from each of our 5. We're going to put them into a poll, and then we're going to let you guys decide. It's down to you. So you guys decide who is the best manager that's ever lived in the world of football. So that is down to you guys. And we can pick manager for anywhere in the world. So it will be very, very interesting. And he also says, I feel we will trigger the option so Yang gets to feel more comfortable in Spurs having probably one of his icons and an icon of South Korea football to taking him under his wing. And I might as well just start there. And it was one of the talking points, guys, that I had about Sonny, right? And Sonny's been such a influence of a player for Tottenham Hotspur, the way he trains, the way he conducts himself on and off the pitch, the way that he's so, everything's just about his football, everything's about it's the way he plays the game, the way he conducts himself, the way he leads by example. And I think he was a great choice for captain when Ange picked the captain, and I really do. And I think, look, there's a lot of people think Romero could have been captain, a few other people as well. And I think Romero giving him the vice captaincy has also helped him as well in his temperament and calming him down a little bit. And I think also getting Vicario involved within that leadership role, I think it was a good thing as well. But I think we missed him for Brighton, and I really want to get Brighton out of the way because it is the elephant in the room. That second half performance at Brighton was the worst I've seen in the Tottenham team under Ange Postecoglou. And I was watching a podcast last night. Phil Jones was doing it with Rio Ferdinand, and they were talking about I think they did it the day after the Brighton game. And they were talking about it. And he said something which is absolutely spot on. The players stopped fighting for their roles. They've stopped fighting for their duels. They went out with the intentions of, we've won this. And this is when a team can get too overconfident. And Tottenham got a bit cocky. And that second half, we got cocky and we got paid for it. And I've never seen Ange look so angry and so annoyed after that game as I've ever seen him, even at Celtic. And I've never seen him like that. So, look, I'm glad that it was probably the international break came at the wrong time, because we could have done with another game to get that out of our system. But we've had to brood over that for the likes of the 2 weeks. But I hope the players that have stayed have really got on with it and got it out of their system. Because when you play for Tottenham Hotspur, you should be able to complete games, 90-plus minute games, without going out there and thinking, we've won this. The Premier League is not easy. Anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League. We've seen it before and we've seen it again. And I think what annoyed me the most, we were 2-0 up, cruising, and we just blew it. We absolutely blew it. Now, I don't think Ange should get the blame for this, and I saw a lot of Ange out afterwards, and Ange is the problem, and it was his problem. We shouldn't have done this, we shouldn't have done that. Phil Jones said it last night, and I agree with him. It was down on the players. It was down on the players that they should be taking responsibility for that out there. And for me, if you look how well we played in the first half, we absolutely dominated. We picked up where we left off against Man United. And I agree with that. The players should take responsibility, because they didn't win their duels. They took it easy. They took the foot off the pedal. And once you take your foot off the pedal, I think it's very hard to put your foot back on the pedal. And I did the watch along for the game when we were away to the Hungarian side as well. And also, when you look at the Man United game afterwards, I did the double watch along that Thursday, and it was where you see a team that's in control, playing well, playing for each other. And you see another team not playing for each other and not playing well. It's night and day. And that second half, it was non-acceptable. And it's the second half I never want to see again. I never want to see that sort of performance. And I hope Ange just got that into them players when they come back before West Ham. You never want to see that again. And I know a lot of us were angry, and a lot of us, few people said probably things they didn't mean. But all this with Ange out again, as soon as we lose, Ange out, we want Ange out, it's absolutely bullshit. And that's what it is. It's utter bullshit. Because you cannot blame a manager for the players. Once they cross the white line, it's down to the players to play. A manager can't come onto the pitch and play for the players. It's down to them to perform. So, I just hope never to see that again. Never, ever to see that again. Big up to Moondog. Good evening, Dermot. Good evening, Moondog. Hope you and your young lad are doing well. I just want a drink. Where have I put it? Oh, I left it. That's right. So I hope you're doing well. Hope your young lad's doing well as well. Great to see you in the chat. And hope you're doing well. And I still have them things you made for us when we were back on the TTG days. And I still have them as cozies and everything. And I'll be forever grateful, Moondog, for what you did for me for them. So thank you so much, sir. An absolute legend. Boris says, congrats on Vicario earning his first ever start for the Italian team. Yeah, well deserved. I think Vicario's he's having a good season, Vicario, actually. And I think he's gone away and he's worked on his game. And I do feel that he will get better. He will become a legend at the club. Wayne said, the thing with the Brighton second half for me, it's this team. Clubs still lack the backbone and the fight and the ability to close the game or sustain continued pressure when losing the ball. Battles, I agree with you 100%. 100%. And he says as much as they did. Look, we can't how well they played against Man United in Man United's backyard. Didn't even get the recognition for that, by the way. And it wasn't how great Spurs played, it was how bad Man United played. And we sort of resorted back to form in that second half against Brighton. I hope they never see it again. I'm calling out the people who were blaming Timo for that loss. Timo didn't do anything wrong. That match, his crosses were great. If someone got in the end of them, we could have won that game like 6-3. And I agree with you. I think it's very harsh blaming Timo Werner for that defeat. But fans will turn on people, will turn on certain players. You know, Werner has not been great, and he hasn't played well, and there's been games where he hasn't done great. And people will turn on him, people will turn on Ange, people will turn on players that they don't agree with, they don't like Brendan Johnson. He got 6 and 6 now. And he's still getting stick. Where are all the Boris Johnson, sorry. I always call them that for some bloody daft reason. Brendan Johnson, right? Where are all them players? Where are all them fans that were on his back? They're all gone quiet now. And you guarantee the first bad game he has, they'll be all back in his back. All back in his back again. They really will. But you're right, Boris. You're right to be calling out the people who are blaming, and you're right to say that. Wayne says Werner played well against Brighton. I don't understand that pathetic hatred towards him. So exactly, Wayne, and it is pathetic. We should, right. We're fans, okay? We all love our club, and of course, we all got our favourite players, and we all got our players that we probably don't really like, or we have a bit of a love-hate relationship with, right? But he's still playing for our club. He's still playing with our shirt on his back. He's still playing with the badge on his chest, and he still has the pride to go out there and do a job. Even if you don't like him, you've got to support him because he's part of our club. Ange wants him there. If Ange sees something in him, then Ange must think he's worth having around. Now, everyone, when we extended the loan deal, we got the And I get it. I do get it. But we got to give him a chance. You know, his Premier League, he's never done well in the Premier League. You look at his German career, he's been absolutely exceptional in Germany. But the Premier League, he's never really hit the ground running for one thing or another. And maybe he will under Ange. The 2 chances against Man United, he should have buried. You look at him when he played in Germany, he buries them. So it's all confidence for me. I think his confidence is on the floor. I think he's listening to what the crowd are getting on his back. I think he's listening to a lot of these people that are keyboard warriors that hide behind the keyboards and give out a lot of stick to him. And I get that. You know, it's not right. Brendan Johnson did the right thing, come off his social media, and look what's happened. He's got 6 and 6. Is there a connection to that? Probably there is. But I think what Werner's got to do is ignore the haters, ignore the people that are on his back, just concentrate on his football and actually knuckle down and prove why Ange has picked him and prove them people wrong. Brendan Johnson has. Brendan Johnson's now proven the people why we bought him. And yes, look, I was one that went a bit funny in him. I will admit that I went, look, maybe take this guy out for his own good. And I think Ange was the right thing and took him out. But look at him. Just look at Brendan Johnson now. Absolutely proven why. I think this could be the next Gareth Bale. And I'm sorry, I've been saying that well before he went on this run. Well before he got 6 out of 6 in the league. It's 7 out of 7 now if you include the international Boris is saying in the chat. And he's riding high in confidence. He really is riding high in confidence. And fair play to him. And Werner will get that as well. I think Werner will come good. Werner may surprise a few people, you know. Boris says, Wayne, it's because everyone wants a scapegoat for Spurs. Before it was Dyer. Before Dyer was so, it was Dyer. It's not like Werner will be starting week in, week out. Whether Son, Richie or Wilson is back. And that's the thing. We are going to have Richie, I think Wilson and Sonny back for the West Ham game. So Werner probably is going to be 4th choice. But I agree. Everyone does look for a scapegoat. And everyone looks for a scapegoat in life, I think, in general. It doesn't have to be football. It could be your own life. It could be in your own job. It could be anywhere. Anyone. It's human nature. I think to look for a scapegoat, to blame. Something goes wrong. I think it's human nature to blame everyone else. And I think you're more of a man, or you're more of a person, in my view, if you take responsibility for your actions. And look, everyone doesn't. I sometimes don't take responsibility for what I say. And I make mistakes. Do you know? Everyone can make a mistake. Everyone can cock up. Everyone can say the wrong thing. Anyone can do the wrong thing. It's about learning from that experience. It's about learning from that mistake you've made, or that missed pass, or that bad game, and looking at it and thinking, right, what could I do better? And I think Werner's confidence, with all the hatred, with all the bad vibes around him, I think it's got to him. And I think Ange needs to put an arm around him and tell him, look, this is why I'm picking you. This is why I want you around the club, because you bring this. You bring A, B, and C to me, to my teams. And I think once he gets going, I think you will see a better Werner. And all them people that are hating on Werner will then go away. It's a bit like Brendan Johnson. Brendan Johnson's the best thing since sliced spread now. But you watch, the first game he has a bad game, you watch, they'll be back out again. Wayne said, at Boris, those fans are idiots. They preach about getting behind the team and then contradict themselves. Werner's a good player, in my opinion. It's only the idiots with stupidity, ridiculous expert. Yeah. And look, I did go off the deep end when he had them misses at Man United. And I think that was more out of more frustration, or more frustration that we could have been more up and he should have took the chance, and he could have scored. But I get, yeah. It is about these. There is fans that, even with Ange, right? Since we lost against Brighton, Ange out, it's back out again. Told you Ange is no good. Ange can't do this. Ange can't do that. But where were they when we won 5 in a row in all competitions, or 6 in a row in all competitions? They were nowhere. They weren't out. Were they celebrating when we won? Of course they were. Of course they were celebrating when Tottenham won the game. What happens if Spurs win a League Cup on their Ange? Are they going to be celebrating? Of course they will. All be singing Ange is the great, you know, Ange is the greatest manager in the world and all this. Every football fan has the, I don't mean this to be rude, but every football fan in one way and another is a hypocrite, including myself. Football is full of hypocrisy. One week you're slagging off the player, you're slagging off the manager. The next week he's the best thing since sliced bread. Football is like that. Football is full of hypocrisy. It really is. If you really think about it, I mean, every football fan in the entire world is a hypocrite in one way or the other. And that's what makes the game so lovable, because we all got our own opinions. You could stick 20 football fans in the same room, right? And not one of them will agree on the same thing. You may get 1 or 2 agreeing on it, right? But 9 times out of 10, you will not get agreeing on everything. Everyone has their own opinion. And everyone's entitled to that opinion. Everyone's entitled to how they want to support the team. Everyone's entitled to how they feel about the team. But what gets me is all this Ange out stuff, which I think, again, is another load of bullshit, to be fair. I feel Ange is probably one of the best managers we've had in a long time. Everyone was crying out under Conte and Mourinho and Nuno. They're not playing the Tottenham way. We're playing too defensive. It's boring football. Now we've got a manager that plays the attractive way. Okay, we have the odd cock up now and again. And I agree with you, we do. And we get the results that probably we should, like Brighton, we should have won. And that's frustrating. But I can see what Ange is trying to do. You can see the progression that we're making under Ange Postecoglou. We can see the progression certain players are making under Ange Postecoglou. We need to back this manager. We need to back him. So Wayne is right. He said these fans are idiots. But all fans in one way or another are hypocrites. I'm a hypocrite how I feel. You know, 1 minute I'm Levy out. Next minute I'm down the middle. I praise him when he does good. I will praise him when I will give out when he does bad. And maybe that's the right way. But in football, you can't just have your opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, and everyone will also disagree with your opinion. And I think that's what makes football what it is. I think that's why football is. That's why we all love football. This is why we love the game, because it's a game that can bring out passion in you. It can bring out massive debate, passionate debates. It can make you go crazy. It can make you happy. It can make you sad. It can make you angry. It can make you happy. It can make you go through all the emotions. And I think you could go through every emotion watching Tottenham play. You start off the game confident. We're going to win this. And then you get a bit, okay, we're not playing too well. The other team score, you think. You're down in the dumps. Then we score. You're back up again. And then we take the lead. Yeah, we're going to win this. We're back in the driving seat. And then something else happens, and something else happens, and you're sort of up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, you're up and down more times than you know what I mean. You're up and more times. I'm trying to think of something non-rude to say that Boy probably say out of only fools and horses. It will get me done. So I'm not going to say it, but you get my drift. We're up and down like a stock exchange. But that that's what makes the game. That's why we love the game. That's why we love it. I mean, I was watching Ireland the last couple of nights. Last two internationals, right? We beat Finland on top of the world, right? We're back. Ireland are back. We've won a game. We've won a game away from home. We've come from behind, and we're brilliant. And then we go to Greece last night, and outplayed Greece, by the way, in that second half. And then we give away the most stupidest goal by Keller, who was outstanding for the whole game. Got Ray Houghton's Man of the Match award, and he gives away a stupid goal. And then everything's down in the dumps. And then you're criticising the players, you're criticising the manager. Instead of trying to pass it to another player, hoovered up the field when you're 1-0 down. And when I look back at the Ireland performance last night, me and Dave talked about it today. And I'm Philip as well. I spoke to Philip Brady today as well about it. And I agree with Philip and Dave is we can see what our manager's trying to do. And I can see where we're going, and I'm just hoping for it to continue. But Greece are not a bad side, by the way. Greece were very good, and Greece played very well against England. I like your thoughts on that, guys. Put it in the chat. How do you think England or whoever you follow in the international teams, how your international team's done in its international break? Big up, listen, to anyone that's in Florida. I think Wilton McDonald's in Florida as well. We haven't been on. We had the massive hurricane, of course, since the last time we're on. So, Wilton, if you're watching or anyone from around that sort of area, we know we get a few people from Florida. We hope you're safe. We hope you're okay. We hope you didn't get too much damage. That, but just let us know if you're okay, and just let us know if you're okay, because we do like to know you guys if you guys are all right, and just to know you're safe. But yeah, a lot's happened. Wow, lots happened. I think it's been nearly 3 weeks since I last did the stream, so yeah, I've missed it. I have missed it, to be fair. I have missed it. Big up Wayne. Get on his back on that unnecessarily. They should try to be realistic rather than acting entitled and limited. Yeah. No team is entitled to win anything. We're not entitled to win any trophy at the start of the season. Not Man City, nobody. Everyone starts with a clean slate. And that's another thing that's really getting on my nerves. It's this Man City thing as well. the last time I was on, they've won a case against the Premier League about, I think if I'm right, I think I've got this right, on their, I think, how they bring extra money into the club. Now, they've won that case. It doesn't go against the 115 charges. But again, we need to clear this thing up with Man City. And I want it should be cleared up sooner rather than later. And I hope it is, because I feel it's bringing football sort of into disrepute in a way. Big up to Wayne. I feel like Werner is like Hill, does great in these home league games, but doesn't seem been able to adapt much. Maybe that is, maybe can't adapt to the Premier League. Maybe you're right, Boris. The Premier League isn't for everyone, by the way. 7 in 7 matches now, Domain Club. Yeah, he's on fire, Brennan. Well done to him. I'm over the moon from absolutely. Big up to Hot God 10 as well. Big up Hot God. Good evening, Dermot chat. Big up Hot God as well. He's another member as well. Please pick up your memberships. It does help us grow. Richie is the biggest one. Likely Son is second, and Wilson will be back around November time. Wilson's just back in the team training, so it seems so far. Yeah, I feel Richie will be back. I think Sonny will be back for West Ham, but I'll find out more before the end of the week, guys. Honestly, Greece have been one of the best teams in the Nations League. They have 4 out of 4 for them in the league. And do you know what? Fair play to them. Absolutely fair play to them. It was about sponsorship they won, but if they had one, I feel a lot of those 115 charges will go. There will probably be 30 cases will actually get punished for. Do you know what, Boris? I think you are right on that. Right, that is the chat. Let's get cracking in to what this stream is about. And this was a picture taken yesterday of Amanda Staveley was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium actually watching the NFL. Watching now, there's been a lot of rumours flown around that she's looking to come in with a consortium from Saudi Arabia to buy certain shares in Tottenham Hotspur or a stake. Now, this is the next bit is what I've been told. Now, this is the latest I have. And it's Amanda is serious about being involved with Spurs and is hoping that an internal purchase can be completed within weeks. Now, I was talking to my source today, and we were sort of discussing what would that look like. Will it be just a 500 million euro investment into the club to help buy new players? Will it be a Man United style takeover where they take over the footballing side and leave Daniel Levy on the business side? Or will it be a really serious takeover and having them as the majority shareholders and owning the club, and Daniel Levy having a minority stake within the club? Now, I got a thing up here. Will Spurs be able to compete with top clubs in terms of buying players and wages thanks to the increased financial backing? And there's one problem with this. Everyone wants Daniel Levy out the club. Everyone wants Levy, so they will take anyone that see come and think, oh, this is anything's better than Levy. And I understand that. And I get that. But there's a word of warning in that. Where do we be careful for what you wish for? Now, there's a lot of us in the chat can remember back to the late 80s, early 90s, where our great club nearly went out of existence, thanks to Ivan Scholar. And it really did nearly went out of existence, and it was close. And if it wasn't for Alan Sugar and Terry Venables coming in to buy the club, there'd be no club now. There'd be no THFC till I die. There'd be no DR Hotspur. There'd be no other Spurs YouTube channels. And we had the Alan Sugar years, which really weren't successful, to be fair. They were pretty damn awful, all that football in the 90s. Then came in the Enoch and Levy years. Now, you can say what you want about Daniel Levy, and a lot of it is probably warranted, and a lot of it is probably warrant is probably the right word. We have not been as successful as a club as we should have been. One trophy since 2001 is not good enough. And that's right. For the statue of our club, one trophy in 20 odd years is not good enough. And you can't argue against that argument. But if you look at the final, we got to a league, we won the League Cup, and then we got to another League Cup final for a following year. We lost out on penalties. If we won that, that's 2 trophies. We got to a Champions League final, and I will stand by this. We were lucky to get to that Champions League final. And a lot of people have called me out on that, and we were lucky. We had VAR helped us in the quarterfinals against Man City. We had no right to beat Ajax and came back and beat Ajax, and that was down to Moura getting that incredible hat-trick. And we got to a Champions League final where he froze, where Pochettino should have started Moura up front instead of an unfit Harry Kane. And anyone can have that argument, to this day, what we should have done. Hindsight's a great thing. Everyone can work off hindsight, and it's hindsight's lovely, but it is what it is. But a Champions League final, 2nd in the league, 3rd in the league. So technically, we could have won a League Cup. We got to a couple of FA Cup semi-finals as well. By the way, I think we lost to Chelsea 4-2 in one of them. So if you look about it, we could have won a League Cup, 2 FA Cups, could have won a Premier League and a Champions League. And then Daniel Levy's become the most successful chairman in the modern era of Tottenham Hotspur. Probably as successful under the owners of the Bill Nick era. But it didn't happen. So you're working on, it could have been either a kick here or a kick there. Then you look at his business side. He builds the best ever stadium, I think, in the world. I think Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is probably up there, if not the best stadium that's been built in Europe. I think it is the best stadium in the whole Premier League, personally, myself. I think it's the best stadium in Europe. I think it's multi-use as a stadium for NFL and concerts and all that. I haven't got a problem with that. As long as the money's put back into the football side, I have not got a problem with that, because stadiums stay empty for a good part of the year anyway. So you look at the business side and you look at what he's doing, and you look at he's trying to revamp the area in Tottenham, which needs revamping. The area of Tottenham is so run down. I mean, I walk down the Tottenham High Road and it's like I'm going back into the 80s again. It's just nothing's changed. And I think he's trying to do good. But fans don't care about investment in the area. Fans don't care about investment in stadiums or the best training facilities. Fans want trophies. Fans want winning teams. That's why we go and support our club, to win stuff, to be contenders, to be contenders in trophies, to be contenders in the league, to go to Wembley. That's what we care about. And where Enoch and Daniel Levy has probably ticked a few boxes, the major one he's failed has been the team. Then his way of sacking managers, Yola at half time, sacking Mourinho 5 days before a cup final. He doesn't help himself, to be fair. Now, he's got it right with Postecoglou, and he's sticking by Postecoglou, and he has been backed. I think Postecoglou spent up to 300 million in 3 transfer windows, which is, for me, being backed. But we need investment. We need somebody to come in and invest money into our club. Now, do I like the idea of Amanda Staveley coming in with the Saudi money? The answer to that is no, because I've seen what she's done at Newcastle. But Newcastle were handicapped with FFP, where we're not. So maybe it could be different. There's also another rumour going around, and this is the other bit that I don't like. This has come from The Sun. The Sun have reported that Eddie Howe could receive a tempting offer to leave Newcastle. He's been tipped to replace Postecoglou at Tottenham as Staveley invests in Spurs. Now, as much as I think Eddie Howe's a great manager, right, I don't want him anywhere near our club. Stick with Ange Postecoglou. He is the man that will take us to glory. And I understand if new people come in, they're going to want their own man there. But it goes back again. Do we want this investment? Do we want Amanda Staveley and the Saudi Arabia people coming in and investing in Tottenham Hotspur? Now, you're going to have fans say, yeah, we've got 500 million. We can buy all the best players in the world. They're going to come in. They're going to buy the players that we want. But that's a double-edged sword, because you could go and buy all the players you want in the world, pay them all the money they want. But if you don't have a financial plan or a financial structure that you're going to stand by, you could end up in a hell of a lot of shit. I mean, I remember Leeds at a time when Leeds were flying high and overspent, and ended up getting relegated and ended up going into, I think, administration. I'm not sure. I can't remember if they did or not. So, as much as I want investment, as much as I think maybe it's time for Daniel to probably hand the reins over to somebody else to take us on as a club. Maybe he's taking us as far as he can take us. I don't want to go into a situation where we end up back where we were in the late 80s, early 90s, where we're in debt up to our eyeballs and we have to sell our best players to stay afloat. And this is the bit that worries me. Sometimes you're better the devil, and then you're better with the devil you know than the devil you don't. Now, she could come in with her Saudi backers if this is true and if this will work out. And we don't know what sort of investment, we don't know what sort of stake they're buying in the club. They could end up just buying 20% of the club. We don't know. We don't know if it's going to be a Man United style takeover. They do the footballing side, Daniel Levy does the business side. Or, as I said, the third option is they buy enough shares to make Daniel Levy a minority shareholder, and she comes in as chairman or puts her own man as chairman, and we start afresh with the new ownership. Look, it's all about, for me, it's all about what's best for Tottenham Hotspur. But I don't want us going back to a point where we're struggling again. And you look at clubs, you look at the likes of other clubs, other Everton, who were badly run. Everton were badly run. And all the trouble they've got themselves into. You can say what you want about Daniel Levy, but he does know how to run a football club well, financially. But the double-edged sword is you want us to be successful as well, and we haven't been successful. So there's a double-edged sword here. You can't have, it's like he wants his cake, but he won't eat it, if you know what I mean. We've got the best stadium in the world, the best training facilities in the world. We've got the best whatever. But that's no good unless you've got a couple of trophies to back that up. If he had a couple of trophies to back that up, I don't think the fans will mind. But we've got all this fantastic facilities and fantastic stadium, but we've got no trophies to back it up. Now, with this new ownership, if it is a new ownership comes in, does that change that? And I think it does change that. I think it puts us into a different different sort of level, where if we got Saudi Arabian backing, can we then compete with the big clubs? And I think we can. And I think if it is a Saudi Arabian back and they do back whoever's the manager is, either it's Postecoglou, whoever, well, then I think we could compete with the big teams. And I think that's where we've been lacking. Daniel Levy does not like to throw the double sixes. And that's the thing. It's about throwing caution to the wind. And sometimes you got to, sometimes I might hope to dare is to do. And I think he's got to dare. He's got to dare to win. And I think he's got to somehow say, right, okay, I'll tell you what. There you go, Ange. There's 400 million for a summer window. Buy who you want. Get who you want in. Get the players you want. Get the players in. We'll pay the wages. We'll do it. We'll have a crack at it. And see where we go. It doesn't mean we're going to fail, but at least if we see the team are trying and we're buying the best players in, I think the fans would turn around and say, do you know what? Maybe Daniel Levy has changed. And that's the problem, because for me, Daniel Levy has said all the right things, but he's never backed it up. And I think that's been his problem with Spurs fans. He's always said the right things. And because we haven't won trophies either, that's another stick that he's got. Alan Sugar won 1 trophy in 10 years. If you look at Ivan Scholar, he won, how many win? 2 trophies in, I think, 8 years he was in charge. He won the 82 FA Cup and the 84 UEFA Cup. He was chairman, of course, under David Pleat, that got us to an FA Cup final, League Cup semi-final, and 3rd in the league. So we could have really we could have won another trophy under him as well. 3 FA Cups in the 80s. And then, of course, he won another FA Cup under Terry Venables before he was removed as chairman. So, you know, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. A, do you want this investment? B, do you think Amanda Staveley and her crew are the right people to invest in our club? And B, what sort of investment do you want it to be? Do you want it to be A, the Man United, what happened at Man United, or just invest 500 million, take a 20% stake, or do you want a full takeover? All of them are all up in the air at the moment. I'm hearing 2 different versions of what could happen. Now, there's a lot my source can't tell me at the moment due to legal obligations. But something is happening at White Hart Lane. There is something brewing there, and there is a story brewing, and there's legs to this. There is something on this, and this is going to grow and grow to whatever happens. And as soon as I get the green light to say, right, you can tell this, you will bet your bottom dollar, guys, you will be the first to know. Because this is going to be the biggest thing to happen to Spurs this year. And a little bit on Eddie Howe as well. And this has only been reported in The Sun. I mean, you don't believe everything you read in the papers, and I wouldn't believe everything you read in The Sun either. Apart from page 3, which don't even do that anymore. They report that Eddie Howe is a good manager, right? Eddie Howe's father, Don Howe, was a great coach. Coached at Arsenal, coached at England as well during his time. Managed Arsenal, I think, once as well. Was the assistant manager when Arsenal did the double back in 70-71. So a renowned coach, very good at his job. Eddie Howe done great at Bournemouth. He's done great things at Newcastle as well. And I think he's been unlucky with the right back, and I think he could have pushed that team up quite high. Just give us 2. And, you know, Is he a Tottenham manager? Would you like to see him at Spurs? I think stick with Ange personally myself, but look, what am I? I'm only an Irish Tottenham fan that runs an Irish YouTube channel. My views are probably not counted for nothing, but I wouldn't want Eddie Howe at my club. How good Eddie Howe is, I think Eddie Howe be a good England manager. But other people, look, he's done good things at Newcastle. I think he is a good manager, but Tottenham manager, I don't know. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. We've got Boris saying here, I feel that they're being pushed by the George Bullock death, making them want to win the matches more. That's grief, yeah. I think so. And all our condolences go to his family as well. That was shocking what happened. Big up to Ainsley. Stavely doesn't have a pot to piss in. She had to borrow the money off Mike Ashley. Yeah, she did, to actually buy Newcastle, which is quite worrying. But apparently she's coming in with a lot of Saudi Arabian backing. Well, maybe because Tottenham's a bigger club and Tottenham, London, North London, you know. Who knows? Who knows? We've got Wayne says, any investment, they make it. If the deal agree, won't go all towards players because the board and owners care about more. Yeah. Look, I'm going to have more of a discussion about this probably during the week with Boris and Carl and Colin as well. Tequila's not well at the moment. We know. I think he said to me he's got COVID. So big up to Tequila. Hope you feel better, man. And we'll see you back on the show soon. But we will talk about this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Look, it's either going to happen one way or the other. And if they want to invest, grand, but where does that investment look like? We know Joe Lewis wants to sell his shares. So is that a case of buying Joe Lewis's shares and becoming a minority shareholder and putting Daniel Levy as a minority holder? Do you do, right, okay, we buy the football side or you look after the business side, or is it a full-blown takeover? Because I think if you look at, like, you got the Qataris, you've got the Saudi Arabians, you've got the Bahrainians, that all look at Premier League football and think it's a gold mine. And it is. The Premier League football is a gold mine. Clubs make billions. The football industry in the UK makes billions and billions every year. Either that's from the TV deals to get from Sky or the Champions League money, the Premier League money. Football clubs are swimming in money at the moment. But what happens when that bubble bursts? How many clubs will be left, looking all right? And at the moment, Tottenham's one of the best run clubs in the Premier League. Do we really want to go down that road of being iffy on FFP? I don't, but we see what happened. And Boris says, I'll take Howe as a replacement for Ange. That's interesting. Let me know, guys, what you think in the chat. Right, just to finish off this, of course, we've got this as well. We all see the contracts run out next summer. We've got Timo Werner on loan. His contract runs out at the end of the year. Sonny as well. His contract runs out at the end of the year. We've got Fraser Foster, Ben Davis, Reglon, and Alfie Whiteman. Now, to be fair, I think the likes of Werner... Look, Werner will either... We've got to make a decision on Werner. Do we buy him or do we not renew his loan deal? We'll probably know by January on that one. Sonny as well. The club have an option on him to extend his contract further. I think the club will. But for what I'm hearing, for the rumours that I'm hearing, it's not really rumours, but the mumblings I'm hearing, what I was told today, that Sonny could end up leaving the club at the end of the season and going back to South Korea to end his career there. Now, we have to see where that goes. I think personally, I think he's going to spend one more year at Spurs and then leave at the end of that year. I think that's what will happen. But we'll have to wait and see. Fraser Foster, I think he'll leave. He'll go on the free. He'll go out on the free next summer. I think Ben Davies may be kept on, maybe given an extra year, but more as on the coaching side than on the playing side, probably as a player coach. Reguilón, I think he'd be gone as well, and I think Alfred Whiteman would be gone as well. So Sonny's the big one. Sonny's the big one. What do we do with Sonny? Do Tottenham extend him for another year, which I think they will do? And for me, I think he'll go for one more year, and then I think he'll finish his career in South Korea. That's just my opinion. I think Sonny's got one more year in him. And I suppose, as Boris said, with the young lad coming in as well from South Korea, maybe keep him around a year and have him as a sort of a mentor or role model or get him settled. But I think that's what will happen. We've got Boris saying we could sign him as a free agent if we wanted to anyway, since his contract at Leeds runs out in 2025. Yeah, we could do. That's actually never thought of that. That's actually a good point, Boris, actually. Well done. And then Wayne goes, Foster, Reguilón and Whiteman will all go. Sonny will sign a year extension. Davis may stay on as part of the coaching setup or go. We should keep Werner. That's interesting. I agree with you with Ben Davies on the coaching setup. I think that makes sense. I think that's a good move, actually, for Ben Davies. Pay him as a sort of player coach. I do agree with you. Foster, Reguilón and Whiteman will go. I think they will go at the end of the season. They will leave the club. As I was already said, I think Son will sign that year extension. But it depends where he wants to go at the end of that year. Will he want to finish his career, which I'm hearing he does in South Korea? It's a big thing for Sonny, and I think he wants to do that. I think he wants to finish his career in his home country, and who can blame him? He's been such a servant for our club, and he's been such a legend, and he is a legend. He's a Tottenham legend. I don't care. Legend is bounded around too easily these days, guys. But for me, he's a Tottenham legend of the modern era. A bit like Harry Kane. Harry Kane's another legend as well. I think there are legends in different ways. You've got the 80 legends that won stuff. The likes of Steve Perryman or Graham Roberts. They're proper Spurs legends. But I think in the modern era, I think Sonny and Harry Kane are the two players I think you can call legends because of the way they've conducted themselves, the way they've always given their best for the club. They've done everything for the club, and they've given it all for the club. And I think it's such a shame. It's a shame they've never won. Well, Harry never won anything with us. Sonny could end up winning the trophy with us, and how nice would that be for him, be captain, to lift a trophy? And what could be his last year at the club or second last year at the club. For me, that would be, I would love that. For him to win a trophy, I think, what a way to go out. So that is my thoughts on that. But let me go, guys. Again, put in the comments on what you think on that. And then nicely, our next 6 games, guys. We have West Ham, of course, on Saturday. We've got AZ, Alkmaar in the Europa League. We've got Palace away. We've got Man City at home in the League Cup. We've got Aston Villa. Then we'll go into November. Then we've got Aston Villa away. And then we've got Galatasaray at home. I think I've got them the wrong way round. I think it's Aston Villa at home and then Galatasaray away. But I think I've got that wrong. But anyway, let me know. Look, West Ham. I'm going for a win. West Ham, we're going to beat West Ham. We will beat AZ out there. I think we will be too strong for them. I think Palace away. I think we're going to get a draw there. So for me, it'd be a draw at Palace. We're going to beat Man City at home in the League Cup. I think the League Cup's ours to win this year. So going for a win. Villa. Do you know what? I think we can beat Villa. I think Villa are Villa's a hard one for me. We did go up there last year and beat them 4-0 at their place. They did beat us at home. So we do owe them one. I'm going for a Villa win. I think we'll beat Villa, and then Galatasaray. I think we're going to get a draw there. So let me know, guys, what you think. They're not, the next 6 games really are important for our season. But the 3 games in the league are really important. 2 London derbies and the Villa one. I think we need to beat West Ham on Saturday just to calm everyone down and get everyone sort of back on track again. Then we've got the game at home. I think having 2 home games and an away game in London, I think is absolutely vital. And I think having another home game as well in the League Cup. I think we won't be travelling too far in our Europa League for the Palace game. So I think that will do us some favour. It's the trip to Galatasaray. And there was a stat brought out, I think, before the international break, that every team that played in Europe that week didn't win. And that's a bit of a stat. Any team that played in Europe did not win on the last weekend Premier League games before the international break. And don't forget, we've got 2 more weeks, I think, of football. And then we've got the last international break of the year. And then it all runs through then to March then, guys. Well, let me know if you agree with me. I'm going for, in the league, I'm going for 7 points in the league. And I'm going for 2 wins. I'm going for 4 points in the Europa League, and I'm going for a win in the League Cup. So let me know, guys. And that is it. That is the first show back. It's great to be back as well, guys. It's great to talk to you as well. We're back tomorrow night, of course, with another show. We're back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, guys. I think Boris is joining me tomorrow night. I think he is. Where we'll talk all things Spurs. We'll get his views on little bits of news coming in about the investments. So if we get any more on that, guys, I will let you know. We'll have a bit more talk about that. We'll have a bit more talk about West Ham. A bit more talk about Tottenham and the players coming back, who's fit, who's not fit. But if you can do me a favour, please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell as well. I do apologise for the lack of content. I really do. But family, we had a bit of an emergency. Mr. Tron wasn't well, so family comes first. But I am back now, and we're back now fully. We're back on the train, and we're back every show this week, guys. And, of course, the watch-alongs and everything building up. We've got 2 games a week coming up, so we're going to do plenty of stuff for you members as well. Do hit the link for the Us Club channel sponsor as well. Private internet access, if you can. It really does help us. 43 for 2 years for the best VPN around. Whatever you do, guys, please do. Come on, you Spurs. Big Andrew, we trust. We never stop. Go on, you Spurs.